Okay, I have a recommendation for today. It is a book. I think years ago I recommended the book Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein. Fantastic book, absolutely fantastic book. I recently read another of Heinlein's books, Double Star, and I don't want to really give away too much about the story, but I will tell you that it's sort of sci-fi, but it's really not. I mean, there's sort of some outer space elements to it, but really it's a story sort of about people, and specifically, it is a story about an actor who is not doing so well, and he's hired to play a double for an unspecified political figure, right? And the story really explores if you pretend to be someone long enough and no one knows that you're pretending to be that person, do you effectively become that person? Does your identity essentially go away? And we could talk about this in the context of method actors who take on the role of the character they're playing, Lewis, even when the cameras are off during filming, right? We've heard about actors who do that. It is an absolutely fascinating story. It is Double Star by Robert Heinlein. Very, very interesting.
That is basically the same storyline as Kagemusha, the Kurosawa film, except, of course, that takes place in feudal Japan.
Right.
I would recommend that, too, if very similar.
A piggybacked recommendation from Lewis on mine. So, and as I was reading this, I started thinking of those crazy Paul McCartney conspiracy theories where, as the story goes, at some point Paul McCartney died or was killed, depending on who you believe, and another left-handed bass player who looks and sounds like Paul McCartney essentially took on the life of Paul McCartney and has been Paul McCartney ever since. And it's interesting because, aside from the craziness of that, if that were true, isn't the person we currently know to be Paul McCartney effectively Paul McCartney for all intents and purposes? And that's sort of the same idea that this story explores.
Yeah, I think he would have to be, right?
I think so. davidpakman.com/recommendations. Check out this and all other recommendations. And again, people like it when I restate the recommendation. I am talking about the book Double Star by Robert Heinlein, the great Robert Heinlein, one of the great authors in the genre.